I'm kind of ready.
Let me be your nerd. Let me be your nerd now. I'll say it, baby, 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 baby.
What the hell was that?
Welcome, everybody, to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 85. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And we're here with your weekly wrap-up of nerd news, everybody's favorite Friday night geek podcast, the Grizzled Geek Podcast, guys. We're here every week. We're making a commitment.
Most.
We're here to talk. Well, most. But 85. What happened to episode 84? You ask. Us kind of skipping them kind of messed up our sequence, but it's okay. I plan these things out ahead of time, so we're on episode 85 now.
Just go with it.
Just go with it. Yeah, it was just like it was that amazing episode you missed. Which 84 was so amazing. We did
It's
so
the
much
mystery
stuff.
episode, man.
The mystery episode. Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. So planning. Yes, Charlie Tango. Yeah. We may not look like it. We may not give off the impression that we're organized. And
we're not.
But, you know,
Maybe that was the second one.
Every once in a while, there'll be like a streak of like, why don't I just plan ahead of like 5 podcasts and set that up? Well, every once in a while, there'll be like a streak of energy, and that happens. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. All of you listening out there in podcast land, we really appreciate you guys checking us out, especially if you're listening to Week Old News. Because if you love Week Old News, told to you by 2 middle-aged geeks, some would call man-child, then this is the podcast for you, because that's exactly what we do. So, yeah. And we tell you that's what we do for you every week. And we do it free of charge because we love you guys. We love you, and we're having these conversations anyway, so we might as well film it, right? All right. Doug, what have you been up to?
Oh man. A little bit of painting, a little bit of working out, a lot of working.
A lot of working.
Yeah. Played a couple games of Axis and Allies on the computer. That was always fun. Going back to old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, painting up some Necrons so we can play this weekend.
That's
Not
right.
cold.
We're doing some ultimate nerd shit tomorrow. We're going to a game store and we're going to play toy soldiers for adults.
Yeah.
We're going to play with little plastic men.
And how are they for adults, you ask? Because
Right.
they're super expensive.
They're super expensive. Oh my god.
Otherwise, they are the same as kids.
Pretty much they're the
Toy
same.
soldiers.
Yeah, I mean, let's not lie. We still would play with plastic toy soldiers. Yeah, I know. We have a show this week. Surprise. Yeah. It's like one of those things like, what happened? What happens to your show? Well, all kinds of random stuff we call life. But
Yeah.
you know, we are on track now, guys. We're back. Doug and I, we're still missing Kirsten. She's got stuff going on, but we got projects in the works, guys, that we've been working on now. I ordered a green screen for the back here, so you can see. I
Nice.
miss the world famous Grizzled Geek Studios that we used to film in, and I had that. That was my background for the longest time. And then I moved, and they stuck me in the corner over here. So, yeah, I kind of have to podcast from my workstation over here. So I got my 3 work monitors over here. And then I got this blinds, right? Now I could open it up so we can see nature in all its glory, but instead of that, I'm going to green screen it up and put in something goofy behind me.
You are correct, Charlie Tango. We barely played 8th, and now it's on 9th.
Yeah, in fact, tomorrow we're playing 9th edition 40K for the first time. Like, I think there's like 6 of us going to show up to play for the first time.
Yeah.
None of us have played 9th edition.
No. Watch lots of battle reports, but I've never actually played it.
Let's get grizzly. Absolutely. I want to point out the fact that my screensaver on my work computer is me. Just going to point that out. Not that I'm vain or anything, but, you know, anyone can look at
it's not just that he's vain. It's that he's vain and wants everybody to know it. That is an unusual combination.
It is. Usually I'm like, I'm okay with people knowing I'm vain as long as they know, right? That's the thing. It works for me. That's my screensaver. All right. Yeah. So we are doing some severe geek shit tomorrow, playing Toy Soldiers with a bunch of guys getting together. I think it's the first time we played. Is it over a year?
Yes. I mean, other than you and Shane getting to play because you live in the same house. I mean,
right. Yeah.
We have not played a game of anything since before the pandemic.
Wow.
So yeah, we
get together for the first time. We're breaking, you know. And you know what? I'm not gonna wear a mask. I'm gonna throw it down unless I require a mask to get into the store. Then
I don't remember.
And then I'm gonna have to. But I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna get back to normal. I'm calling right now. Back to normal. Doing nerd shit. Unmasked. I want people to know who I am doing nerd stuff. So, all right. That is what we've been up to. Is what we're gonna do. Let's jump into some nerd news. What do you say?
Let's go for it.
Right. No. So you see the screen, our screensaver, our thumbnail for the show. The Marvel crossover movie is a Marvel DC crossover movie.
Oh,
possible. James Gunn says kinda. He says, all right. James Gunn in a Q&A with fans. You got is that your people driving out of your house? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can you hear that?
Yeah, it was loud. During a Q&A with fans, James Gunn was asked about the possibility of a crossover between the two media giants. And he actually said he's had talked with both parties about it. All right. So James Gunn, who has successful movies with Marvel, is about to have successful movies with, if the trailers and everything live up to it, with DC, right? And then he says, he's had conversations with both parties about it. Then, of course, he also went on to say he doesn't believe it'll ever happen, but he said it's not impossible. So, what would that look like? Like, what would that be like? I don't think it would ever be, successful at DC in the same sentence.
Here's the thing. If they were to do it, it would be probably non-canon and I could see like Deadpool and the Suicide Squad or
current actors or new cast.
Maybe. I'm thinking like the Suicide Squad he works with
like Deadpool and something like that
might work.
Something not serious.
It's probably not going to be the Guardians because I think for at least a couple of the Guardians, it's their last movie, so they're not going to. I don't think there'll be any Guardian stuff after this last Guardians.
Yeah.
Except for cameos in other movies because we're losing Batista, and I'm not sure if anybody else is calling it quits after this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what,
I don't see it happening. Honestly,
it'll never happen live action, right? It'll never happen.
Probably.
But an animated, right? They've crossed over in the comics before. An animated movie, right? What do you think? Or animated,
I think they've crossed over in animation before too.
Have they?
I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to, man. I'd have to.
That sounds like something that a responsible, journalist or entertainer would actually have looked up about if they're going to just have this kind of discussion for a podcast or something like that, like where they're in front of people live and we're talking about it. Yeah. I didn't look it up either, so Maybe.
Let's see. Maybe there has not. I don't know.
I was gonna say I don't ever remember. I mean, a animated crossover. I think there's only been the comics crossover.
Yeah, maybe I was thinking of one of the obscure crossovers that you're like, oh, that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: would you be excited for a Marvel DC animated crossover movie?
Probably, because DC does animation pretty well. So then I'd have a little more faith that it would actually be done well.
All right.
So,
would you still be excited if it was the awful amalgam crossover? Where they mix the two characters together. You want to see like what is it? What was Wolverine like? Backclaw or something like that? What was his?
yeah, I don't remember, and honestly, I didn't think it was that bad.
Really, you liked the amalgam?
It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was all right. It was fun for what it was. I mean, it was better than like the Heroes Reborn and
yeah,
a lot of the other stuff that came out in that time period. So,
and to be fair, we were younger and more easily entertained back then, so
yeah,
that could have something to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I would. Okay, I can sit here and say I would say I would be excited about depending on who does it. No, I can't even say that because the one thing DC does get right more often than not is the animation.
Mm-hmm.
Right on their animated side, their movies suck. Hulk versus Superman. Yeah, Ben, good call. There was an animated, like someone did a computer animated Superman versus the Hulk thing on YouTube or whatever. That was pretty cool. But I'd love to see it. Of course, they'd have to kind of tone down the DC superhero powers and then, or bring up the Marvel superhero powers because they're like two different power. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are so ridiculously different.
Different levels. DC is way more powerful. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny. I want to bring it up. Obviously, we know this would never happen. But the fact that James Gunn threw it out there that he's had conversations with both companies about it, like got people like talking, and he says, "Well, it's not. I wouldn't say it's impossible." He's like, "I don't think it'll happen, but I don't say it's not impossible." And I'm like, "Don't say that," because now everyone's all like, "He has talked with both parties about it, and it is possible." He said it was possible, kind of. I mean, by default, he said it was possible by saying it's not impossible.
Yes.
He said never say never, and people were like, "Ah, it's happening."
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. I'm like, man. Yeah. I'm like, why would Marvel give away that money like that to DC?
They've done it before.
I guess that's true. Like, all right, guys. So yeah, I just thought that was a funny thing we had to discuss here because people were talking. I mean, first I thought about it, I was like, okay, that's just a non-throwaway thing. But then Twitter happened, and people were like, it could happen. I'm like, no, it can't. Stop right now. It's never going to happen. All right, Doug, you want to talk to us about Titans?
Sure, although this is your show. I've never watched Titans, so
all right. We can talk about it together.
Yeah, go for it, because I've never watched Titans. I was totally turned off by just the way they were portrayed visually and just how they acted in the trailers leading up to it. I was like, nah.
I was like, okay, I wasn't excited. I went in, I watched season 1 of Titans when it came out, right? And I liked some of the characters. I liked Dick Grayson, right? I like Hawk and Dove. Actually, I liked a lot of people that weren't the Titans themselves. Beast Boy, that's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Raven and Starfire is totally a different character, right? From the comics or from the cartoons or, from whatever media.
Like she's totally not from a different planet?
No, she's the backstory's there, but the personality-wise, who she is, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different character. And Raven, I wasn't. But then at the end of the season, I was like, okay, I really like Dick Grayson. I like some of these other characters, and I realized it was basically like a prequel. It was a prequel to the Titans, right? Like,
Right.
so I was like, okay, I'll give season 2 a shot, right? So I went back, watched season 2, and the first episode when it finishes up the cliffhanger, I was like, right. So Raven gets her crystal in her head, right? Things start, acting more and more. They actually have Jason Todd in this, who you love to hate, and just like I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. And they even have Batman. They had Batman, but he's an older Batman, right? So the show kind of focuses on Dick Grayson as the Batman figure, right? The father figure. He's older, the most experienced one, right? And he actually even has a Nightwing switch by the end of season 2, right? And they have Batman is in it, but he's an older guy, right? He's old Batman, and Dick Grayson is kind of like taking over his role in the thing. So, but then they went in and did the awful, spoilers here. They killed my favorite character at the end of season 2, and I'm like, why am I watching this? First off, what season 2 taught me a couple of things, like why did they kill off my favorite character, and why they just not have Superboy handle everything, right? Like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Send Superboy or send the dog? They got Crypto, and he's all as bad as Crypto should be, or Kryptonian dog is in the comics, and you're like, why the hell? Just send the dog. Just kick back, send the dog to do it. I mean, but so I've had this kind of relationship with Titans where I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Oh, I hate it. No, wait, I'm gonna go back, give it a shot again. Maybe it'll be better. It only does this because it loves me.
And here we are talking about season 3.
And then season 3. So then I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching season 3, right? I was like, I'm done with it. Season 2 finally did it. I'm not going to watch it again. And then the season 3 trailer comes out, and we got our first shot at Jonathan Crane, right, and Barbara Gordon. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting, but the big thing is they tease a Death in a Family storyline because we already knew we had Jason Todd and everything in there. So the promo begins with Jason Todd making his way through what appears to be an abandoned amusement park, right? And then he discovers a corpse with a Joker grin on his face, like the Smilex Joker grin. And then we hear the unmistakable Joker laugh, right? And then he turns around and he's shocked. And then later on, we actually see in the same scene him getting beat with a crowbar. So, and then the bloody crowbar is left in the headquarters, Teen Titans headquarters, right? Just on the floor. So, wow. I mean, that's straight up Death in the Family, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way around that. It wasn't subtle. It was straight up. So looks like we're getting a Joker. We're getting the death of Jason Todd, and they also had the Red Hood too. So they're going to have the whole Jason Todd storyline in one season, apparently.
So he's going to be killed and then come back as the Red Hood all in one season.
All in one season. So at this point, I'm like, okay, how are they doing this without Batman? Right? I mean, they have a Batman, but it's Jason. I mean, it's Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones, right? So he's an old guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to put on a rubber suit and start, kicking people, right? It's just not going to happen. But, DC Stockholm Syndrome. That's exactly what I have with this show. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, right? I'm like, I'm done with it. I don't want to see it anymore. But now it's almost like I have to watch this because I have to see the live action Death in a Family story played out, right? Even if I am swapping out Dick Grayson for Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty fair swap, I guess. If you're if someone's gonna replace them, at least it's not Arrow doing
right, yeah.
the Batman taking a Batman story. It's at least keeping it in the family here. So, yeah, I mean, and I want to see the Joker. I want to see the Titans version of the Joker. I want to see that storyline played out. I mean, you know, I don't know. I know it's going to disappoint me at some level at the end of it, right? Just like the first 2 seasons have. But I got to go back. What about you, man? You're like the biggest Batman fan I know. I know you weren't interested in the Titans beforehand, but does this interest you at all? If they're doing like the Death in the Family storyline?
I don't know. I always hated Jason Todd.
Yeah, you get to see him get beat with a crowbar. So
yeah. Although, I mean, the problem with him was he's just uninteresting, unlikable and uninteresting. Not unlikable in a way that was interesting.
I will say this: the guy playing Jason Todd, the way they play that character in this, he's not likable. He's a punk kid, but he's interesting at least, right? He's not bland. He's not, he's got this, kind of like rival relationship, this kind of like rival / mentor relationship with Dick Grayson, right? So, and I kind of like it. I kind of like that relationship a little bit. And I kind of like the guy that's playing Jason Todd. So even though I wouldn't say I'm a Jason Todd fan,
right?
I'm, I got to watch it. I don't know. So I'm just wondering if this might be pique your interest enough to actually check it out.
Maybe. I'd have to. It's on HBO Max now, right?
It's on HBO Max now. Yep.
So I technically could.
Yeah, I mean, so it's right there. It's like, I got nothing else to do. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Go through. I'm just curious. I'm gonna watch it. I hate to say it.
Because you're a glutton for punishment.
I am, apparently. I'm like, I guess. Titans keep dragging me back in. All right.
Me in the balls again, baby.
I know. And I'm like, this is not good. But at least they're putting Starfire in the right costume this time. They finally got Raven in the right costume last season, and they're putting Starfire in the right costume this season. So
nice.
At least they'll look the part. And here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Doom Patrol, right? I love Doom Patrol. It's amazing. It's crazy, right? But it's crazy. That's why I love it, because they don't shy away from the craziness of the comics, right? They had the cartoon for a while there, and that had to shy away from the craziness of the comics, because comics was just too crazy. HBO Max is like, no, I don't care. Whatever. Have a whole universe in a goat's butthole. That's all right. Whatever you want to do. It's like, just do it. But in that, for some reason, they put Cyborg. Cyborg is not in Titans. He's in Doom Patrol, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
And he is a great character in Doom Patrol. Like, the guy playing him is awesome, right? And he looks like Cyborg, and he acts like Cyborg. And I'm like, that guy is awesome. I just wish he was in Titans, right?
Right, yeah.
I want to see him interact with Beast Boy and, everybody. I just want to see it, because Beast Boy is straight up. He's right on. Dick Grayson is Dick Grayson, right? Raven is now finally getting into her role. Starfire is still not the same character, but at least she's going to start to look like it. But they need Cyborg, right? But instead, we got Hawk and Dove, who are cool characters in this. They're way cool, but they're, not who I think Teen Titans. Now, Donna Troy was amazing. Was it Wonder Girl? What do they call her? Is it
I think
Wonder Woman's niece or something like that? Or
I don't remember what her relationship was. And I'm not sure what her last incarnation was, but she was for a little while Wonder Girl. But she was awesome. And then they kill her off last season. So she take the place of Tara, whatever her name was. The one who betrays him.
Yeah, true. They did the whole Deathstroke thing last season too, which was cool. And Deathstroke's son, or whatever, that whole storyline. They did that, and that was awesome. But, we'll see. All right. Titans season 3. Check out the trailer, guys. Let us know what you think of it, whether you're excited about it, if you're going to watch it when it comes out. Let's talk Black Widow, Doug.
Yeah, we have our tickets for it.
Woo!
Man. So we got first reviews for Black Widow are in. Many comments call it Bond meets Terminator meets Mission Impossible. It's an interesting smash together.
Let's break that down for a minute right there. Bond meets Terminator. I mean, there's various combinations of this. It was like, substitute Bourne in there, right, or whatever. But right. Bond and Mission Impossible and Terminator came up a lot, which I'm like, does that mean?
Okay. So it's a super spy.
Yeah.
Who has to go on a mission that doesn't look like it has much chance of succeeding against an opponent you can't beat.
Right. I guess that's where the Terminator comes in. Taskmaster.
Taskmaster can't. Yeah. They
unstoppable.
Like an unstoppable, unbeatable bad guy that you have to find a way to beat.
Okay, there we go. That's what I was reading these. I'm like, where does Terminator come in this? How is Terminator playing in this? And then I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. Duh. I don't know why that just now hit me. But yeah. Okay. And if you're gonna have a Terminator, that's a good one to have.
The Mission Impossible probably comes in with because why add in Mission Impossible, which is basically a spy movie as well,
right?
But it's got a team working together to try and accomplish
desperate stakes, and the whole Okay, so, that's cool. I like all those things. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's every trailer we see, I have two feelings. I see. Man, that looks amazing. I can't wait to watch it. And stop showing me too much.
Stop showing me. Yeah, I don't want to see your work.
I don't want to know the whole plot.
They have a whole bunch of little snippets that come out, and I'm like, stop it already. I'm like, I'm there. You have my money already. I bought the ticket. I don't need to see it. All right. What else are they saying?
Let's see. Red Guardian's called super fun, but most of the praise has been heaped on Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova.
Yeah.
She does look, they haven't shown her do a lot.
Right. But she has to be good in it because like most of those tweets that were coming out were saying that she's like she steals the show. She's like, she's the Marvel's next big thing.
Yeah. And it's interesting. All the scenes in the previews tend to be just, she's more passive, and I think they wanted to hold that back to have her, her ass kicking held back so that it would be kind of a surprise or, kind of like, ooh, yeah, look at that. Right. But all of her scenes with Black Widow are really cool. Their interactions are very good. I like that.
Yeah, their relationship is awesome. The whole family dynamic, even though we just got a little bit of it, looks awesome.
Yeah.
Red Guardians. And Red Guardian gets mentioned a lot too. So, and we knew he was going to be awesome just from the trailer, just from the little bit we get in the trailers.
Yeah, I'm just so afraid he's going to die, and we're not going to get to have him again.
Oh man,
which almost is guaranteed because if it weren't, wouldn't he have been around for Endgame or something like that? Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. People are calling Taskmaster a beast. That goes back to the Terminator thing. Overwhelmingly positive. There was some criticism of long action scenes breaking up the pacing. But I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going like, it doesn't sound like. I mean, it's criticism, but I'm like, I read that it doesn't sound bad. So,
especially if you're going for, especially a modern day Bond or a Mission Impossible or even a Bourne. I guess you could theoretically overdo it because a lot of them have really fast-paced. Yeah. Their action sequence they're super fast and then done, within 5
or maybe it's really long, like complicated action scenes like in Mission Impossible, right? Where there's a whole lot of moving parts.
I mean, we're gonna get a car chase, so that's cool. Yeah, that's always good in a spy thriller. I mean, maybe this stuff where what appears to be the end fight where the thing is falling apart and stuff looks a little ridiculous, but whatever. It's a Marvel movie. I don't care that that they defy the laws of physics in it. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did I tell you the theory that was put forward by Super Carlin Brothers about Yelena Belova?
No.
And I haven't gone back to watch it, but apparently in the first trailer, there's a scene with the Black Widow and Yelena Belova lying on tables like head to head, I think, and they've got like outlines drawn on their face, almost like they were going to do a face swap.
Oh, so you're...
Which then, if that were to be an actual thing, then who died was actually Yelena Belova, not Natasha.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Just because it takes away from like that moment with Natasha and Hawkeye and her sacrifice and everything like that. I mean,
yeah. So
her sacrifice was so good, and I hate it, but it was so good that you don't want to take that away from her, right? And she is wearing Florence Pugh's outfit in Endgame. The one she's wearing in Black Widow is the one that Black Widow is wearing in Endgame.
Right, correct.
So,
Charlie. They made this video like way back when the first trailer came out. So, I'm assuming it's made the round since way back then. When they thought we were actually going to get the movie on time.
Yeah.
So
exactly. All right. Well,
but I'm with you. I hope that's not the case, but just a little interesting. Like, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Cool.
And the number one comment they had for all those reviews coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Marvel's back, baby. Well, they said Marvel is back.
Yeah.
I am the baby.
Might as well. So overwhelmingly positive reviews. That's good to see. It sounds like Marvel will have another hit on their hands. Although it's sad that it won't. It doesn't have the shot of making the kind of money it would have made if it came out if we didn't have worldwide pandemic. Yeah,
I mean although it's going to beat Quiet Place too, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Which we'll talk about, yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So that does it for our main stories, guys. So you know what time it is. Time for the Nerd Nuggets, guys. So our smaller stories, our little bites, our ones we don't have to go too deep dive into, and I'll kick us off with a story that I'm like would have been excited about in the 90s, and now I'm kind of like, okay. Todd McFarlane's Sam and Twitch characters from Spawn are getting a new TV series. Todd will act as executive producer, while Paul Lee and Mark Roybal from Mayor of Easttown will adapt the series. No word on if it will be where it will land, but Lee and Roybal have connections with HBO, so everyone's thinking HBO Max is where it'll end up. But a TV series about, Sam and Twitch, the two human detectives of Spawn. What do we think?
I'm like, who asked for this? Is this still a thing?
Right? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, Todd's been pushing, and there are people out there that are waiting for Spawn stuff, right? And it is the longest running. It hit issue 300, which making it the longest running independently owned comic ever.
Oh, okay. Right? It is still going. I didn't even know that.
It is still going. Yeah, it is. Thank you for that, Travis. Travis Bennett. We appreciate that. The comments. Okay. So obviously you're probably not excited about this. It's just, are you more, if you got HBO Max, you got some downtime, you got nothing to do, you're sitting on the couch with the remote, and there is Titans and Sam and Twitch on HBO Max. Which are you watching, Doug? Titans. Okay, fair enough. I got to say that's me too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Todd. I love Todd McFarlane. You're amazing. One of my heroes from since I was a kid. But I'm probably not watching the Sandwich Witch TV series. All right.
Aaron Taylor Johnson has nabbed the lead role as Kraven the Hunter in Sony's yet one more stupid decision Marvel film. The studio also locked in the actor for multiple pictures, and J.C. Chander is directing Kraven the Hunter, which is why I said this another stupid decision. Stop making videos about or movies about villains.
Stop making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, I understood Venom.
Yeah.
Venom's a pretty big character on his own. But stop taking the bad guys from them, divorcing them from the character they're associated with, and putting him in the role of the protagonist. It doesn't make any sense.
At first, I was like, I love Kraven the Hunter. At first, I'm like, oh, they could really do an amazing job. And I started thinking about how cool it would be. And then I realized, oh, it's not a Marvel film. This is a Sony film. I'm like,
yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know. The project's being billed as the next chapter in Sony's universe of Marvel licensed characters. Art Markham and Matt Holloway and Richard Wenk wrote the screenplay, while Avi Arad and Matt Tolmach are producing. But this, yeah, it's just they're grasping at straws. They're like, yeah, this is a cool character. People love Kraven. Yeah, we love him as a bad guy for Spider-Man.
We love him when he's fighting Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's yet one more bad decision.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed.
I don't know why they keep putting the work in on this non-Spider-Man universe. Why don't you just let Marvel make these movies and take the cut? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have them front the money for making the movie, have them do all the work, reap the benefits, retain the rights. Or do like we've been saying all along and add Miles Morales into your universe. Yeah. So you actually have a Spider-Man and somebody that we would care about in a movie. Like if it was Miles Morales versus Mobius, I wouldn't be like, who cares about a Mobius movie? I'd be like, oh, I'll check that out, right? Or whatever.
Right, yeah.
You had Miles Morales in there, and I'm far more excited than before. All right, so we got another trailer last week, and it was an amazing one. Yeah, because there you go. Hang on, real quick before we change topics. Charlie Tango had a comment for you, Doug, because it is.
Yeah, Marvel knows better than to make movies about villains. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we got a trailer for Master of the Universe. So Kevin Smith's Master of the Universe Revelations, right? 40 years later, we finally get to go back to Eternia, and continue the story, right? That is the promise. And I was a little hesitant. I'm like, Kevin Smith could be hit or miss. I mean, I love Kevin Smith. Don't get me wrong. But when he works on projects that are not, his stuff, I get a little nervous, right? But He-Man, all right? I mean, come on. As a kid, this was my thing. He-Man. Of course, I played with G.I. Joes and Star Wars and Transformers and all that, right? But deep down, and I'm not saying I think He-Man, as far as the toys went, were my favorite, right? I had all the He-Man stuff. I loved it. So I watched cartoon as a kid. I defended that 80s movie with Dolph Lundgren. I mean, Dolph Lundgren is He-Man. It can't go wrong. It can't be bad. That's just not possible. So I know I'm never going to get. I know I can never get a live action He-Man, right? I know there's several people working on it. Several people like writing scripts, right? It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a live action He-Man. I hate to break it to you. All we got.
And one would make the argument you probably shouldn't have.
You probably shouldn't. True, because no matter how, kind of like you shouldn't make a Thundercats movie. As much as in your head as a kid, your kid brain thinks that would be awesome. I want to see all that in live action. And then your logical brain kicks in and goes, look at Cats. All right? Look at that Cats movie, and imagine them with swords. Okay? Because that's what you're asking for live action Thundercats. It's just not going to work out. Right? But He-Man, kind of same thing. But this is a continuation of the cartoon from the 80s, right? And it's Kevin Smith, like, said Kevin Smith Entertainment News, Nerd News said he's a fanboy, right? And it could be good or it could be really bad. So it looks amazing. I will say that. The trailer did its job. I'm super excited for it. The animation looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching
really
it. I'm fingers crossed. Here we go. Hopefully this is a Kevin Smith hit. Like, come on, Kevin Smith. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I was never like a huge He-Man fan like you were, but I liked it all right. But that animation just looked awesome. I was just like, holy crap, that's cool looking.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Skeletor actually looked like, a menace. He looked menacing. He had cool looking spells. You actually felt like he was a real foe to worry about versus, what he was in the cartoon.
Yeah. Well, we do need Fisto to come in there and fist really good. Fist as hard as he can, because that's how you're going to beat Skeletor. Like him and Ram Man team up, and then it's a whole different cartoon. That's a whole different thing. The Fisto and Ram Man team up. All right, Doug, tell us about the other cartoon.
The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, is coming as an anime movie. It's in the works from original trilogy writer Philippa Boyens. Warner Brothers is developing an anime movie, not just an animated movie,
right?
An anime movie titled The War of the Rohirrim, serving as a prequel to events surrounding The War of the Ring. New Line Cinema is developing the project with Warner Brothers Animation. I don't know what to think about this.
At one point, I'm like, if you told me they're going to make an animated prequel about Rohan, I'll be like, okay, that's dumb. But then you tell me New Line's involved, and Philip is writing. Right?
And there is information in the appendices and I think in the Silmarillion about what was happening in Rohan in that time period. So it's not like they're just going to make it up totally. I mean, there's not a lot of information, so they're going to have to make a decent amount up. Yeah. But I just think it's an odd choice to make it an anime movie.
Yeah, that seems weird. So
I'm just, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's Warner Brothers Animation, so.
Yeah, I don't know if they have an actual anime studio involved, Warner Brothers Animation. So but that's like, Warner Brothers does good animation.
Yeah.
But an anime needs, a proper anime studio. And what makes an anime, I mean, it could work. It could work with this type of story, right? Because I'm thinking of the horses. I'm thinking some of those like samurai animes, right? Do really good horse battles and stuff like that. It's just in my mind, that's what I'm kind of picturing. But I want to see more about this before I'm like super excited about it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Are you excited about this? I mean, what do you think? Is something you're going to watch?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much anything Lord of the Rings wise. I'm interested in. It's just an odd decision. So I'm kind of like, I'm not forming any opinions on it right now. It's kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah. So, are you more excited about, more or less excited for this than you are for the Amazon Lord of the Rings live action series?
Less.
Less? Really?
Yeah.
All about it? Even with the nudity in Tolkien they're gonna have? Well, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. I gotta agree with you too. I'm just goading you, playing devil's advocate, because you're absolutely right. You should be more excited about the live action.
Right.
But this is not, if they do it right, everything lines up to looks like this could be done right. So we'll check it out. We'll see more. I'll reserve judgment until I see a trailer.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk box office news for a little bit here. This was last weekend. A Quiet Place 2 reached a milestone by being the first film post-pandemic to hit $100 million, right? And they did it in just 12 days. So, people are like, oh, I mean, this doesn't mean theaters are back or they're going to be saved or anything. I mean, I'm sure they will. They'll be fine. But things are picking up. People are going to movies now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even with the restrictions and everything in there, that's impressive. $100 million in 12 days when there's a large, I think the last poll was like 60%, or I'm not quite 60%. People are still leery about going to the movies.
Yeah. I think we're doing well. Yeah, I think we're on the upswing for movies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I agree with Charlie Tango that does bode well for Black Widow, and I think Black Widow's gonna beat this one, right?
Oh yeah, I think it'll be fairly easily. I think it'll.
Yeah, I mean, they were predicting it to be like another $1 billion movie back when it first started was coming out, but then after the pandemic, I think it's going to do really well. I think if A Quiet Place can hit 100 million in 12 days, Black Widow, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm excited. Me and Doug are going to be there. We're in theaters. We could both pay the $25 and watch it at home, right? Because it's going to be out on Disney Plus at the same time.
But why? When you can pay less and get a drink and go see it in the theater and get a drink and popcorn.
Yep, get a reclining chair, giant screen, right? Definitely, and it'll be the first. Is this your first movie since when, Doug? What's the last movie you saw in theaters?
March or February of last year. I don't know what was out in theaters March and February.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't remember what the last movie I went and saw. Probably with you. Man, so over a year, we're gonna hit theaters. Well, we're gonna go to the movies, check it out. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. That's what it was.
Bloodshot. Yeah, that was in March of 2020.
Yeah, that was our last.
So that was probably the last movie I saw in the theaters.
Yeah, we saw it together. So, wow.
AMC is currently just doing a seat between you and your party. So we're a party of two. There'll be a blank seat on either side of us, and then people can get those next seats.
Nice.
And then there'll be a blank seat on the other side of that party, and so on.
Nice. I can all stretch out. Yeah.
I think that kind of defeats the purpose, but yes.
True, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think Black Widow is going to do as well as it can with those minimal restrictions.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say that the first IMAX show on that Thursday that it comes out was only about 20% sold by the time I got our tickets. I did get it the day they became available, but not until later in the evening.
20% sold the first day. I mean, I would say it's not bad.
So I haven't tried going back to see how full it looks, but yeah.
Yep. I wanted to talk about Witcher because we just got kind of sneak peek at the second season of Witcher, which I am super excited about because Witcher 1 was amazing. I thought it was awesome, but it also was kind of like a prequel, right, for Witcher. So now we're actually going to kind of get into the meat of the story, and I'm super excited about it. I like Henry Cavill as Geralt. I like Ciri. I think it's going to be awesome. It looks pretty cool. I kind of want to do a kind of like a watch of when it comes out to that season. of Witcher, so I don't know if that's going to be by myself or whether with Doug or not, if he's going to catch up with Witcher.
Yeah.
But we will see. But that should be coming out. We'll be having that. But I think that about does it. Doug, is there anything else you have to add?
I think
we did. I wasn't going to show, but it was kind of like, okay, Andy Muschietti, the director of Flashpoint movie, he's been teasing his costume, right? And so I haven't. The first one was obviously the big one, Michael Keaton, with a blood stain on it, right?
Right. Yeah, that we got last week.
That was that was the big one, of course. Then later on, he teased the Flash, which, right? So we kind of look, saw that. Charlie Tango. You're gonna need to tune in to the Absolute Geek podcast after us for the breakdown on the Batman Catwoman controversy. As it's not something we can really cover on this show, but maybe we'll talk about it here in a second. But
it was dumb. So
the latest one was Supergirl, right? So they showed the Supergirl emblem. So the Flash one and the Supergirl one, nothing big. It's just like, Supergirl one was just like, looked like Henry Cavill's, only brighter and with boobs. So, and then the other one looked like, the regular Flash one. So, but he's been rolling them out every week. There's been teasers.
All right. So, well, that's something.
Yeah.
That would tend to suggest that, that they're making progress on it, that it's not just going to fold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, that's something. Cool.
Yeah, Charlie Tango. So I mean,
yes.
The fact that someone made an off comment about a deleted scene about Batman not being a generous lover, without going into too much detail, the fact that blew up like it did, it was pretty crazy. And then, Doug, did you see Zack Snyder's tweet?
No.
Okay. Zack Snyder tweeted out a not safe for work picture. The caption was just canon, right? And it's like a Frank Miller-esque drawing of Batman and Catwoman, basically proving the statement is wrong. So you can check that out. And I'm sure you're going to get a deep dive into that from the Absolute Geek podcast coming up here after us. So
that's funny.
The late night guys, we'll get into a complete breakdown. But yeah, I thought it was dumb as well. But hey, story's a story, I guess. There's been some crazy ones coming out here.
Bad Batch is super good.
Yeah.
Bad Batch.
This thing Zack Snyder's done. Charlie's in rare form tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So also, there was also another controversy, and I don't want to get into it a little bit, but apparently Anthony Mackie had some comments about. He was asked about a possible relationship between him and Bucky, about Falcon and Bucky, and he's just like, no, two guys can be friends, right? We don't want to, exploit stuff. These guys are just, But anyway, people kind of took what he said as I don't know. I don't know why. When he's asking a question about fan fiction, it becomes his opinion on that is controversy or not, right? I mean, basically, it was like, no, they're not gay. They're just really good friends who love each other, right? And apparently, his wording, he was kind of put on the spot too. So his wording's kind of a little. I'm sure it was like you could totally tell he wasn't expecting that question, right? And so he kind of went off and talked about homosexuality being beautiful and it shouldn't be exploited and all this. He kind of went off. He kind of like it was almost like he should have just stopped it. He was like, no, I don't see them as gay. I think they're really good friends who love each other. It could have just stopped right there. But because he kind of got put on the spot, he kind of rambled for a little bit, and that rambling got him in trouble. Well, with trouble, I mean, people complained. So there's, they're not trying to cancel him yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right, and Oh, we have time. We're talk about Loki. Doug and I are watching Loki. We're filming that, our reactions to Loki. It is an amazing show, and people are calling it the best one that Disney Plus has put out for Marvel. I think, Doug, do you think that is basically more of a reaction to the popularity of the character itself, or the quality of the show? Not that the quality of all these shows have been really great, right? But do you think that its popularity, or the reason why people are calling it the best and its view count is so high, is because of the popularity of the character beforehand?
Yeah.
Or because of the quality?
No, it's about the character, in my opinion. Because the first episode, if you were to judge just by on the first episode, it's not the best show that Marvel's put out.
Yeah.
It's
amazing. I like it.
It was good, and it was fun, and I really like Owen Wilson's character, but it wasn't as intriguing as the first episode of WandaVision was.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean, I was really intrigued by WandaVision. I think WandaVision was amazing just because of,
WandaVision was more of a, what in the world's going on? Why is this happening? What is, what's going on? Whereas Loki is just kind of like, oh, all right. I knew where they were going with this. Yes, there's a mystery, which is already basically solved, but, it's yeah. So,
but I agree with Charlie Tango. I love the production design. I love the fact it's got all this super high tech equipment with retro design, right?
Yeah. I mean, other than the weapons, I don't know what's all that high tech.
All
of it is like what people thought was high tech in the 60s.
Yeah, that's true. So, who knows? Well, I mean, timeline destroying grenades are pretty cool. But they weren't. You're right. Other than the weapons, it's a weapon.
Other than the weapons, it's like, oh, it's what somebody imagined in the 60s that high tech would look like. And they just stuck with it. Yeah. I love it.
It's like the original design for the TVA, right? Back in the early, what things looked like back then. It's like, okay, yeah. Well, just keep that design. I'm like, that is awesome. I think it looks awesome. Super excited. But if you guys are interested in that, check out our
see you, Charlie.
Reactions later, Charlie. Yep, we're about to wrap up here too. So, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for tuning in and listening. For all you people out there in podcast land, be sure to check us out at YouTube at youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. And if you're into gaming, D&D, or tabletop gaming, Warhammer stuff, you can check out our other channel. We've been putting out a lot of videos about the new edition of Age of Sigmar coming out here. And that is at the Grizzled Warmaster. Yes. Yeah. Grizzled Warmaster. So go ahead and check that out. Give us a like and follow over there. Make sure you like and follow us here. Leave comments down below. We'd love to have the conversation. And we'll be back again next week. I promise you. We'll be back again next week. So we'll be here, guys. And maybe we'll have stories of our adventures on the tabletop. Yeah. So 40K. So nice. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Support the channel with the links down below. And we'll see you next time. Bye.